We will discuss the rod cutting problem, a very well-known optimization problem in data structure. The problem goes like this. There is a given rod of length n units. We need to sell the rod either by cutting into pieces or the entire rod. For each of the pieces, the profit is different and it is pre-decided. And the problem is we need to cut the rod in such a way that the profit earned from selling the rod is maximum. And this is a maximization problem. To understand the problem in a better way, let's take one example. Let us consider a rod of length 5 units. And the profits of selling the rod into pieces are given as this table. If we cut the rod into units of length 1, then per unit profit will be 2. If we cut it into 2 unit length, then profit per unit will be 5. Similarly, for 3, the profit per unit is 7, and a length of unit 4 will give you a profit of unit 8, profit of 8 per unit. So now how to cut the rod for the maximum profit? The problem could be solved in two different ways. One is using recursive method and second one is using dynamic programming approach. So in this video, we'll discuss about the dynamic programming approach to solving this problem. Now we will see a problem how to solve this using dynamic approach. It is given that we have a rod of length 5 and which could be divided into pieces, and also the profit per unit piece is given in the table. For length 1, as we have explained earlier, for length 1 the per unit profit is 2, for length of unit 2 profit is 5, 3 profit is 7, and 4 profit is 8. So to solve this using dynamic approach, we will create a table as given here, and this is the table created for solving the problem using dynamic approach. In the table we will have 5 columns, 0 from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 is the total length. This is the total length of the rod, and we assume that we will cut it into single unit, and this is the length of 2 units, length of 3 units, length of 4 units, length of 5 units. Then also we have given the profits. For length 1 profit is 2, for length 2 profit is 5, length 3 profit is 7, length 4 profit is 8. All these values will come from this table. Now there this row, this zeroth row and zeroth column, this is called hypothetical columns, and initially we will fill these columns with zeros. It indicates that this one, if I consider the particular cell, it says that if we cut the rod into length of 0, so length of 0 means there is no profit at all, that's why this profit is 0. And similarly this cell indicates that we are cutting the rod into two pieces of unit length 0. So that's why the profit 0 length units will have no profit as given in this one. Now rest of the cells we will explain how to fill these columns or fill these cells. Likewise, we will fill this column to 0, 0, 0 and 0. Now let's see how to fill this column. This column says that we have a rod of length 1 unit, we have a rod of length 1 unit, and by this column it means that we can cut it into a pieces of 1 unit. So if I cut this length of this rod of length 1 into a piece of unit 1, then we can have only single unit or single piece, and the profit of that single piece will be 2. So we will fill this column or this cell as 2. Let's fill it as 2. Then we'll go to the next cell. Now let's consider this cell. This cell says that we have a rod of 2 units total length. and we can cut it to units or pieces of unit 1. That means we have a rod with 2 unit length, and we can cut into of length unit 1, then each of the unit will have a profit of 2, then total profit will be 4. For this cell, it means that we have a rod of length 3, and that can be divided into 3 pieces of 1 unit length, and that's why profit will be 6. For 4, it will be profit will be 8, and for 5, the profit will be 10. Let's consider this cell. It means that the total length of the rod is 1 unit. Now, since we are here, we can cut this rod into pieces of 1 unit length or into pieces of 2 unit length. However, cutting the rod into pieces of 2 unit length is not possible. That's why we will have only single unit of length 1. We'll have only single piece of length 1, and that will give a profit of 2. Then let's go to this cell. In this cell, it indicates that we have a rod of 2 unit length. We can divide it either into 2 pieces of unit 1 or one single piece of unit 2. So if we cut it into 2 pieces of unit 1, total profit will be 4. And if we cut into a single piece of unit length 2 units, then the profit will be 5. And maximum of both the profits is 5. That's why we'll consider that 5 will be the profit. So for this cell, next cell 3, rod of length of 3, and either we can cut it to 3 pieces of unit length 1 or 2 pieces, one with unit length 2 and one with unit length 1. So for that we can have the profit of maximum profit of if I cut it into 2, it is 5 plus 1 will get a profit of 2. That is 5 plus 2, the profit, total profit will be 7. This cell indicates that we have a rod of length 3. Either we can cut it into 3 pieces of 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit, or we can cut it to 2 unit and 1 unit. In case of 2 unit at 1 unit, the profit will be 5. For this one, the profit will be 2. But if I consider this 1 unit, 1 unit and 1 unit, total profit will be 6. So maximum of this 2 is 7. That's why we'll take 7 as the profit from cutting the rod of length 3. And for this cell, rod of length unit 4, so we'll cut it into 1, 2, 3 and 4, or we can cut it into 2 pieces, 2 units and 2 units. For 2 units the profit is 5, for 2 is profit is 5, for 1 unit, 1 unit length the profit will be 2, 2, 2, 2. Here the total profit is 8 and the total profit is 10. That's why total profit here will be 10. Is likewise, if I go here, then total profit will be 10 plus 2, which is equals to 12. Now we will discuss an easier approach to fill these cells. Now for that, let's consider this cell. Let's consider this cell where available length is equals to 3, and the current length, we consider this one is a current length or length of the rod, or rod length is equals to current length or rod length is equals to 3, and rest of the cells of length less than 3, we will copy the content directly from the upper row 2 and 5. We need not have to compute, and we need to perform the computation for this cell. So for this cell, what we will do, we will take two data. One is the data just above the cell. So this is the current cell, this is the data above the cell. We'll take this data 7 comma, we will take the profit of the current rod, then profit due to that piece is equals to 7 plus, if I take, we have a length of 3 and we have also the available length 3. So if you take 3 minus 3, which is equals to 0, which is the remaining length, and we need to find out the profit for the remaining length. Profit, to see the profit for the remaining length, what we will go, we'll go to the upper row. This is the current cell. We'll go to the upper row. From the upper row, we'll go to the cell number with the profit or with length 0. The profit for length 0, that is equals to 0, and that's why the 7 plus 0. Then we'll take the maximum of these two numbers. Then this gives you maximum of 7 comma 7, which is equals to 7, and that we will put in this cell. Likewise, let's consider the next cell. So next cell says that the current length is 3. We are considering current length is 3, and the available length, we are considering this one as available length. Available length is equals to 4. So to fill this one, we will consider like this form, this one, like this statement. We'll consider the data in the previous cell. Data in the previous cell is 10, comma, the data, that is the cost or the profit due to length 3, this is 7, plus we have available length 4, we have current length 3. If I subtract this current length from the available length, that is 4 minus 3, which is equals to 1, we'll go to the upper cell. Then from the upper cell or upper row, we'll go to the cell which is indicated by 1, this one. So this is equals to 2. We'll put this one and we'll take the maximum of these two value, and maximum is 10. That's why we'll put 10 here. Then for this cell, it will be the maximum of 12 comma 7 plus 5 minus 3, which is equals to 2. We'll go to the second row. This is 5, 7 plus 5, which is equals to 12, and that in maximum will be 12. So we'll fill it with 12, the profit as 12. So to calculate the profit in a particular cell, maximum of profit excluding the new length and including the new length. Let's check the next row. So here available length is equals to, if I consider this row, let's consider this row, the current length is equals to 4, and available length will go according to the numbers given in the columns. So here for all the cells which is less than 4, all cells with available length less than 4, we will copy the content from the upper cell, so 2, 5, 7, and for the cell with equal length, that is available length is 4 and current length is also 4, what we will do, we will use this formula. According to this formula, we'll take the maximum of the profit excluding new. Profit excluding new can be calculated from the cell above the current cell, which is equals to 10, comma, we need to now compute the profit including the new cell, the profit including the new length. New length is 4, that profit for that length is equals to 8. So profit for length 4 is equals to 8 plus profit of the remaining part. Remaining is available length is 4 and the current length is 4, available is 0. So for that we will go to the upper row above this current cell, and then we'll go to the location 0, and this is equals to 0, and which gives a total of maximum of these two values as 10, and we'll put that 10 here as a profit. And for this cell, we'll calculate the maximum according to this formula. Here, according to this formula, available length is 5 and current length is 4. In this formula, it will be maximum of the profit excluding the new, that we will get it from the upper cell. which is equals to 12. Other component will be 8 plus current length is 4, available length is 5. So 5 minus 4 is equals to 1. We will go to the upper cell, then we'll go to this row with the available length 1. So this value is 2, which is equals to 10, and the maximum of 12 and 10 is equals to 12. So we'll put 12 in this cell, 12 in this cell. So this way we can calculate the values for each of the cell, and the value in the last cell 12, it indicates the maximum possible profit that we can earn by cutting the rod. This is how the dynamic approach works in order to find the maximum profit from a rod cutting problem.